Welcome back.
Welcome back to Frimbry Leak.
Little Dodloids.
We've got another guest again. It's Sunday, February 17th, 2014. I'm not going anywhere with this. I'm just making stuff up, and I don't know if that was a Sunday.
Damn, I guess you don't have photographic memory.
But I have pornographic memory. Kidding. I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
It's not good, whatever it is.
All right, fuck y'all. Look.
It's memory leak?
It's memory leak, and my name is Geron plus $85. Geron. $80, not $85. Go ahead.
Benjamin. Sashimi to Benjamin.
Okay. And what are we talking about? We're talking about video game bullshit. That's usually how it goes. Sometimes it's a little different, and this time it's not.
That's usually how it goes.
But look, I'm just going to let the cat out of the bag. I'm the reason why games are so expensive now, all right? It's all my fault.
It's all because of Skyrim Nintendo Switch Edition.
I bought 15 Switch consoles. I bought 85 copies of Scumrum because I worked on it. Oh! Yeah, whatever. Y'all know that. I smoked a little weed, got a little high. I didn't do any of those things. But
Mr. Didgery Dodler over here is in the credits.
Didgery Dodler. Yeah, that's true. Don't call me that.
Doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't mean, but Dodler, I don't like the sound of that. We have seen Microsoft increase the price of their Xbox Series X
crazy
by $100 and more depending on which console you're buying. How do you feel about this, Benjamin?
Little micro PC. I think the take that made the most sense to me is just the whole thing about chip advancements just not really existing anymore.
Sure, yeah.
And it's just making everything more expensive rather than cheaper.
Rather than cheaper, yeah. There's that. Of course, there's obviously another big reason something like this could be happening. But yeah, so
yeah, don't worry about all that.
We're not going to worry about it right this moment, but think about it. Think about who you know around you that might be the reason for this kind of thing, and make sure you fully antagonize them. It's they're getting bombed. It's fine.
Yeah, it's the new Pope.
Yeah,
it's flying overhead.
The new Pope is dropping Nintendo Switch consoles that we didn't get invited for.
I will tell you, the fact that both PlayStation and Xbox raised their prices.
Well, PlayStation hasn't raised their prices in the U.S.
Oh, okay.
That shit is being subsidized by international shit.
I see.
Which is pretty fucked up.
It's pretty fucked up considering that international is what made the PS2 so successful.
Yeah, in fact,
they kind of owe international.
Let me take this thing off. Poor countries where the consoles and the hardware end up being affordable for one reason or another are what hold up the game systems and shit for the rest of the world.
No, it's true.
PS2 being popular has a lot to do with countries like that. The Sega consoles being like that has a lot to do with that. If you didn't know, they still make Master System in the Sega Master System is still sold in various forms.
Is it
Brazil. Actually? I think
they new, literally manufactured.
Yeah. I think very recently they just.
I didn't know that.
Production of it was either production of Genesis type systems or the Master System style systems.
That's kind of crazy.
But so there's actually some weird Master System ports that exist because of that situation. Obviously, the Master System is not.
Does that mean they're also manufacturing games?
Yeah.
Damn. That's kind of tight.
Obviously, piracy and everything is pretty fucking rampant, but
yeah, I mean it is the Master System.
Yeah, I was gonna say so be it for something like that. But I think that I don't know if I mentioned this last time, but video games are becoming something that people are deciding that they're being priced out of. Whether economically they actually are,
right?
They're making the.
It's the games that they want to be playing. They're getting priced out of.
I know,
and we don't even know if that's true.
What are you looking at?
I'm just looking.
Okay.
I'm just zoning.
I got you.
I'm just thinking.
We
don't. The funny thing though is we still don't even know if that's true. We got to actually look at the data. You got to look at the data to actually know if it's just people belly aching, which is the chances are better than worse. That's really just vocal complaining.
I do think what's going to happen is a lot of people are still going to be buying this stuff. They're probably, I think most of the people that are complaining for the most part are the same kind of people that buy 1 or 2 games a year anyway.
Yeah.
Like that are vocally complaining.
Which
and
also almost like doesn't make sense at that point either.
Yeah.
Because then you're talking about you're paying $10 more per year,
Yeah,
$20 more per year.
In
like
the
grand scheme,
that, yeah.
Grand scheme for the hobby that like if you're going to be the kind of person that's playing Mario Kart an hour a week every week for the year, and that's like the only game you touch.
Yeah.
It's like
then
the rest of industry and the economy has already blazed past that. Right. Like you got bigger problems. Like this is not going to break your bank.
The Juggalos, Juggalettes. I don't know why I said that.
I'm trapped. There's all this concrete.
H2O air. I can't. Whatever. I can't do that. But yeah, no. I think a lot of people. I think the reality of it is that there's going to be some kind of shrinkage in where people are buying shit, and how people are buying shit, and I think Xbox consoles going up isn't going to have a terribly big effect because Xbox is already kind of veering away from the actual hardware. So, I mean, it is a bit of a problem that they're retroactively making some first-party games $80.
Right.
But,
I mean, Grand Theft Auto, like, there's just no way that game's not $100.
See, like, yeah, I used to clown on the suggestion that that'd be $100, but now...
There's no way it's not going to be $100.
It's kind of freak show shit, but there is a chance that game comes out and it's $99.
But it's still the same thing, you know? It's like, it's a game that so many people are going to buy, and it's going to be the only game that they buy for, like, not even just the year, but, like, probably years. Like, especially if it has GTA Online, which I have to assume it will.
Yeah, there's no way it won't. What happens to old GTA? That's great. Starting over? That's...
I almost wonder if they're going to do some kind of weird shit.
It's like migration or
some kind of migration or something.
You can play GTA Online without GTA 5.
It's just, but it's also such a... Yeah, I just don't know. There's got to be some kind of bridge. It would be insane for them to start from scratch.
Yeah. Funny enough,
it's an option. It's the easiest option, but it feels insane. It feels like a huge missed revenue stream.
Yeah. I do feel moderately vindicated. Back in 2013, before GTA 5 came out, I was on another podcast, ironically. And I did suggest that GTA Online would be fucking huge, and it was. But everybody could see that coming with something like Grand Theft Auto. I didn't realize it'd be like...
I mean, it was the advent of GTA 5 and the games as a service model.
Yeah. It was like right there at the time.
Yeah, it was the right place at the right time for sure. I think it is stratifying the price points and the quality of games we're getting at those price points further, which I think there's a positive silver lining to that. Yeah. You know, it could just be coincidence, but the fact that we've got Claire Obscure, Expedition 33 being a potential game of the year contender here. Yeah. Ex-Ubisoft devs.
Apparently only 3. Everybody else is their first project.
Well, but it's like the people running the show. Like the game director, creative director.
It's pretty nuts that a lot of those people have not...
No, I mean, there are definitely people... Right. I mean, that's the good shit. You know, it's a combination of, I think, cultural, talking points, which is, breaking apart the AAA beast into, subgroups
into
and let them make their thing.
Shards that then grow. You know, you break off the crystal.
The tree has grown as much as it can, and the saplings are now taking root.
The fruits are falling off of it, and rotten or not, they still contain seeds. And some of those trees will grow, and some of those trees will thrive. Some of them won't. The saplings,
And it is something that I think we have been seeing recently over the years. I think Astrobot in 2024 was also not exactly the same situation, but a similar type of thing.
Yeah.
Taking kind of the Phoenix out of the Japan Studios corpse into something that was clearly, garnered by a lot of people to actually win Game of the Year.
Positive attention. Yeah. Game of the Year from the Game Awards. To be very specific.
Right.
Because saying is, I just as a tangent, one of my least favorite things is when people take the Game Awards as not saying that you do, but when people take the Game Awards as some official thing,
right?
And it's the only thing. It's like this one Game of the Year from.
No. I mean, right.
I just want to make sure that's clarified.
But yeah,
so
let's clarify that for sure. What I think is useful about the Game Awards as some kind of a barometer culturally is that there is input from like a lot of industry people.
Yeah, there is.
Whether it's for pure marketing purposes or otherwise, there's still that
there.
input.
I mean, it's just like
which is interesting. It's an interesting data point, right? So, that's merely what we're talking about. The fact that Balatro was nominated at all is funny. The fact that Baldur's Gate 3, I guess, is technically indie. Larian Studios.
It's indie and it isn't
indie adjacent.
Yeah, it's like
it's funny. I forgot that Stray was nominated in 2022. It Takes Two winning in 2021. That was fucking cool.
I will say that has carried that studio so fucking far. Just that happening, and then the director or whatever.
Dude, look at that.
Speaking.
Yeah, their momentum that they got out of that. Split Fiction being a launch game for Switch 2. The way that Split Fiction works in general, the fact that it's going to be a movie, like they're really like taking it and run with it, and like that's the shit we need. Is like those $50 games, those AA games, indie or not, somewhere in the middle, even if it's the subsidiary of a AAA studio.
And like I was saying earlier, I think like you're talking about the stratification of everything,
the price points, and
I was thinking because there's like $70, $80 games. It also means that there's going to be games that are scoped more appropriately for what like you and I might have time for,
And I feel like I feel like they can do that more intentionally now. I almost feel like they were shying away from it when $60 were the MSRP because it's like it's so close to 60 that they like might as well make all games $60. It felt like it was really just kind of like 40 and 60. Tears of the Kingdom being 70 and then like indie games being 20 or less, right?
2015,
That's kind of what we had. And now that we have kind of 70 as the standard with your occasional 80 at the top of the pyramid, it solidifies that $50 price point for a game that's smaller scope, but still very polished.
Smaller scope, still has the polish, still is like reasonably length. It doesn't need like the new Mafia game is specifically $50. In linear, like it's a linear game.
Yeah.
And I hope a lot of these studios see the value in that kind of game.
Right.
Even if the series has gone open world before, I know people are like, oh, Zelda can go back to don't get ahead of yourself.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about like that particular game can focus on its story, can focus on its presentation, can focus on having a consistent and well-paced set of gameplay moments, and not try to fill them up with filler to make it feel like it's worth the 60 or 70.
Yeah, the whole open world thing feels like it's faded.
Yeah, it feels like it's set now.
Right, the bar. Like, there's such a high bar that it really has to be worth the investment from a developer perspective.
But like
otherwise, they're not going to do it.
The excess is being wiped off at this point.
Like the only ones you're gonna have remaining are like the big wigs.
Yeah.
We just had Tears of the Kingdom, but Ghost of Yote.
Yeah, Ghost of Yote.
Death Stranding 2.
Death Stranding 2. There's gonna be another like whatever Bethesda's working on. That's gonna be the next thing.
Elder Scrolls 6.
What the games they make. And you can almost be certain that they're going to go full bore with it, because I think Elder Scrolls 6 would be the first game that being in proper development would have been in proper development since the Microsoft buyout.
Right. And
all the stuff that's happened with Microsoft, it's now, they're kind of back to multi-platform development. So, I don't know, they probably get support. I remember when I was at ZeniMax, I just saw Mark Cerny in one of the offices. Like, oh.
Well, it's funny that they're just basically going, they with Oblivion Remasters, they're just like, we're just using Unreal now. Masks off.
The old engine and put Unreal on top of it, and they had Virtuos do it.
Which, speaking of, I also think that's probably helped a lot of these AA studios like create something that feels like it's got the polish. Is just like all the tools that are available now, whether it's DLSS, whether it's just using Unreal like relatively stock assets,
engine wrapper thing going on. And I do think on the other side of it though, you're going to get these huge games that people do buy every year. And unfucking fortunately, you're going to get stuff like Call of Duty. That shit's going to be $80. That shit's going to be hard $80.
Yeah.
No chance you're getting that for $70. It doesn't matter what platform.
I mean, it's either going to be the same model as like Warzone, is that what it's called?
Warzone is the
Where it's just like it's like the microtransaction type
it's gonna be
ish.
both.
Yeah, right. And the campaign is going to be the 80.
Well, you have to pay. You have to pay for like the standard multiplayer too. You have to pay.
Same thing with Madden. Madden's going up to 80.
Madden's going. That's absolutely going up. All the 2K games, especially NBA, shit's going to go up to $80. They're going to sell it yearly, and you're still going to have to get resets and all the man.
They're going to sell the Switch. They're going to sell the Switch 1 edition still, and it's going to be it's going to be the same exact game as 2022.
It's going to be the same fucking game for like 4 years ago, over and over until people stop fucking buying it.
That's actually probably the funniest trend in games.
That's so psychotic.
It's funny too because like the people that actually complain about games are not the people that buy it. They just make passing comments observing it. They're just like, that's funny that they're doing this.
Yeah, it's like this.
But like it still happens because people are obviously still paying money for it.
Yeah. Like,
I feel kind of bad.
Legacy edition, they can call it whatever they want.
I feel kind of bad because if people are buying it, it is definitely people that simply don't know better.
Yeah. It's like, either people that don't know better or people that can't buy the other versions for one reason or another.
Right, like they don't have the console.
They only have an old crusty Switch from 2017 because that was all they could afford at that point.
Yeah, it's that's actual like late stage capitalism at its worst type shit.
Supreme taking advantage.
It's crazy predatory.
It's extremely fucked up. I agree with that. The like there are fun sports games for real. Like I think basketball games are actually fun video games. But holy fucking shit,
yeah.
I'm not buying into that because I'm not dedicating my life to these fucking games. I could wait 5 years and buy, a 5-year-old version of the game for $20 or $15 or whatever.
Right.
But I'm not going to do that either, Like, just not worth it.
It's its own ecosystem. Yeah. It's its own beast.
The most fucked up part about that is that I think most of the audience of people that buy and play video games aren't the people that are actually paying attention to this shit.
Right.
They just see number. They see the title of what they want. And they see the number that it costs.
They see new game.
They find a way to get that money.
Right.
To get it. And I was saying something to somebody at work earlier. I was like, yeah, this whole price thing. I mean, it's literally everybody's fault. Yeah. It's the people that have been buying shit. Like I bought 3 Switches. What the fuck is wrong? It's the YouTubers, it's the streamers, it's the game developers, it's the game publishers, it's the customers, it's the government.
It's the system, yeah.
Yeah, it's just the way the system.
It's just the way the system works.
There's nothing
for better or for worse.
You can try to boycott shit. You can try to do all this shit. In the end, you're dropping an ocean. You're dropping water in an ocean, and you need to convince that ocean to just stop being pulled by the moon for like a day.
Yeah,
and people won't do it. It's impossible to convince people to stop using the thing that they enjoy.
Yeah.
Not to mention when it comes to games, especially, they're entertainment. They're not a necessity.
It's purely entertainment.
It's difficult to.
People have been saying that the Hollywood industry is going to collapse.
Yeah,
it hasn't.
Like even it doesn't matter how much slop they put out.
COVID didn't fucking kill it. Nothing's going to kill it, dude.
Like weird streaming, weird like scripts written strangely for streaming, so you can like listen to it in the background. Shit. They'll find a way to make money off of everybody, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
Like whether you like the products they put out, even if you see it and you're like, this is ass, you paid for it in some way. Whether it's your time, whether it's watching ads, it doesn't matter. Like the only way to change these industries that are built on a system that enables them to operate this way is for it like mass exodus from
the industry genuinely has to collapse.
But it's not like what do you want it to collapse? Because if it collapses, who knows if you're going to get it back? You know what I mean? And
you probably won't, at least not in the way that you were used to it. It means that all the people that have jobs in the industry now don't have them anymore.
Yeah,
like they got to move on.
They just simply have to do something different.
Yeah, it's a complete overhaul into something that you have is completely different.
Right.
Nobody can even envision what that would look like.
Right. Exactly. Freaking. And there's even people that like have made careers out of playing video games and making doing content creation with them. I'm not even just talking about streaming. I'm talking about making videos on YouTube and all these other platforms. My hope for them. I don't want this to sound like I'm calling them stupid for doing so. Like I'm glad they did something that worked. But at the same time, you need to make sure you're ready to pivot. Because if you can't pivot away from that, if
you know what this reminds me of?
What?
This reminds me of the time that UA was one of the moderators for Team Liquid forums.
Holy shit.
And he was in a conversation with a player of Dota named Owie 2000, who at the time was in high school. And this was before any of the TIs were even a thing. And he was like, I think I want to go pro in Dota instead of going to college. And he was like, don't do that.
Yeah.
He's like, you absolutely should do that. I don't care how good you are. That's the worst decision you could ever make. And then Owie went and won TI and is like a millionaire.
So
I don't know where he is now. I don't know how well that like $2+ million of his cut like treated him. I don't know if he invested it. I don't know what.
Right.
But it's just a funny story.
It's
just a funny story.
Yeah, that's a stroke of luck.
Yeah, it's unrealistic.
That's my thing. Like you might get lucky and you might be able to sustain a great life with these things, but you're also kind of at the mercy.
You are.
Of what this industry. You don't get to.
It's a devil's bargain for sure. It's very Faustian.
Yeah, like Nintendo.
Very monkey's paw type shit.
I know somebody that relied on the way game sharing worked on Switch, and that changed a bit with the virtual game cards.
Oh, is this the digital thing where like two people could play the same game online or whatever?
Yeah, they relied on it for some of their videos, and so they're notably upset because it's kind of like Nintendo's fucking with their money. But it's just like you kind of knew what's going on here, so you need to prepare for stuff like that. Which means if you really got to, like, you can't say I'm not going to buy 2 of these to make money for. If this is your job, you gotta buy 2 physical copies. If you don't want stuff like this to happen. Like,
or if they're good at their job, they should be getting these copies for free.
They should be putting themselves in a position to get these games for free, even if they do have to buy another copy. They don't need to.
Frankly, if an extra copy of a game is breaking your bank, you're probably not making enough money doing it.
If you're a creator and you're not, if this is your only thing, I'm telling you, like, if this is your only thing and you can't do what you gotta do, to
we live in a society.
Then maybe it's time to figure out where you're pivoting to.
Yeah,
because like Nintendo really, or not any of these companies really don't care about you because they know you're gonna find a way to do it.
Content creation for them is a drop in the fucking bucket.
Yeah,
they don't give a shit if nobody creates content.
Yeah, but to say
it's free marketing that they don't have to spend, so it's like it's cherry on the top.
Yeah, they let it.
As long as it's not fucking with their brand image.
Exactly.
Like Nintendo is hardcore about.
Nintendo's weird about.
Yeah.
I think Nintendo's probably the weirdest about it.
Yeah.
So
they're definitely the most protective of their brand image. But yeah. So content creators thinking they have any kind of say or power is like always kind of funny to me.
Yeah.
They probably do in some cases with indies, which is probably.
That's a totally different thing because the indies are almost at some of them, not all, are at the mercy of someone being able to project
in a positive
their
way
message to an audience.
Because the opposite could happen too, where it's like, oh, fucking Sweet Baby Games, touch this
Sweet
one,
Baby Inc. or whatever.
Kill it in its crib.
Yeah. Don't say that. Jesus Christ. But I don't even remember what I was gonna say now.
Indies, content creation.
Indies can like give a code to people, give a code to content creators. They can mess with it. They can, spread word about it. They can also play the game and not like it.
Yeah.
They can also kind of demonstrate how jank it is. And I'm gonna say something. You already know how I feel about indie games in general. I think with prices going up on the bigger releases, that's going to fuck up some indie developers a little bit, where there are some people that will just kind of go that direction and buy those games. There are also some people that will take less chances on smaller games.
Do you think?
Yeah, I absolutely think so. I've heard people say it out loud, but that's
wait. So say what out loud?
Say that they will take less chances on these smaller games because they're paying more for the games, like the big games that they want per year. So they're like, I need to cut these out so that I can get this and this and this and this that I usually get, rather than get like throwing another $20 game in here.
I don't know how much I believe that. I don't know how much I believe that. I think people say that.
You need to see it.
I think people say that. I
Yeah.
think people are gonna feel that way when they first buy these games, but
Yeah.
when they're done with the game
They're gonna
and they're looking for another thing,
Yeah.
I think they're gonna follow up with not another AAA game. They'll probably follow up with an indie game.
Yeah.
I think that's more realistic. Is that like the people that we're talking about here? Like these people, the people that play games
Yeah.
like this and talk about them on the internet
Yeah.
are not buying one game a year. Their budget is
Yeah.
probably to the tune of like a couple $100 a year on games.
Yeah.
Like
It's a
on the
few hundred,
software
yeah, yeah,
of games, like not even the hardware and all that stuff.
Okay.
They're probably spending $500, I would say, $300 to $500 on software.
Yeah.
Right. So when they're spending $80 on Mario Kart, they're not just gonna be like, this is too much. I can't spend anymore. Like they're gonna buy games, and I think they're gonna actually buy more indie games as a result. It's gonna like break it out a little bit more. So instead of them buying like a $60 game, a $60 game, a $60 game 3 weeks in a row, they'll buy an $80 game, skip the other two AAAs, and then buy a fuck ton of indie games to like bide their time.
I think it'll be a bit of a split. Like I think there will be those people that want Mario and that want Mario Kart, and then want Donkey Kong,
right?
And those people aren't gonna fuck around with shit in the middle. But then there's gonna be those people that get Mario Kart, and then they get like going by what you're thinking, which I mostly agree with actually.
And they'll skip
Mario
Donkey
Kart,
Kong.
and they'll like wait for Donkey Kong the holidays or something.
Right. I think they're going to mentally find ways to justify not needing the other expensive game and instead buy more indies.
Yeah. And then be tricked into buying it anyway. So they just buy it and then wonder what the fuck happened.
What I do think is going to be interesting now is like now that they're kind of raising this cap on game prices to allow for like the $50 games. I'm curious to see how indies react as a result of that.
That's what I'm curious.
Because right now, like again, there's probably like there's the $5 games and less, which I put in sort of one bucket. There's like the $10 to $20 games, which I have another bucket. There's like the premium indie games, like like the Sea of Stars, the ones that like get the marketing and like know they can do that. Maybe they're a bigger indie studio. Yeah, that's like the $30, right? 25, 30, 35 even. Once you get to 40, you're not seeing any indie games really doing that, right? Right now, that's kind of reserved for AA, AAA.
Yeah, sometimes you get a
remasters.
Can't think of any off the top of my head, but sometimes you get start to reach up there.
I do wonder if some indies now are gonna like bump up into that.
Which I'll admit, I think some games that the community of any independent developers release, they do underprice them out of,
right.
They want to be able to sell the game.
Yeah.
And I think this does give them a chance to deal with that. And who knows what else they might be dealing with when it comes to tools and the people that they get to work. Like
I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing, honestly, because I think people are going to rethink what their games they think like the value of it is, like what it's worth. Exactly. I think that's kind of what you're saying. I also think it means that price is going to make them almost like stand out more. Mm-hmm. Because now when you have like 50 games that are all $20, it's like, I don't know what to fucking pick. Like, if I'm spending $20,
I get a couple of them.
Yeah. Now if it's like some of them are 20, some of them are 25, some of them are 30 as a part of this adjustment, that distinguishes them a little bit more. Right. And it's interesting to see how, because that's going to come down to almost like kind of a chicken contest between indie developers where it's like, I think my game is more worthwhile than yours type thing. Whereas before there was almost like a camaraderie. It's like, hey, we're the $20 indie club. All of our games are $20.
That's I'm sure you've seen it before. That's definitely real. This is probably one of the smarter things that I've seen my boss do actually, where he'll instead of being the lowest price version of the same item, he'll suggest that it gets priced up by a certain amount because the perception becomes that the cheapest one is cheap. Whereas even the same exact fucking item, just $10 more, is $10 more worth it. Like it doesn't reach so far out of range, the price they're willing to spend, and they perceive that they're paying for a higher quality or better.
Exactly. Better,
they just associate that
price.
That cost with
price is exactly intended to reflect the product and the value, depending on how you define value, right? Which all comes down to what you want to get out of a game. Yeah. So, I just think it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be interesting when we're going to have more indies with different pricing that are coming out like at the same time.
Yeah.
And that's an interesting thing to me. You know.
I think with all the people being upset about the prices and whatnot, I think people are going to get over it.
I do too.
They're just going to get used to it. It's happened. It's happened before. It does. The prices do suck. I'm not going to say that prices going up doesn't suck ass.
Right.
But I think things are going to adjust themselves, and we'll see how this fucking tariff situation plays out. If this dude, pulls back because he's a little pussy for real, or if he just leaves it in there because he's a little pussy for real. But yeah, we'll see what's up with all that. But
I think they suck. It's a hot take, but I think people are making a bigger deal out of it than it is.
That's what I'm saying. I think like it was inevitable that these prices were going to go up. It's just the state of the world that they decided to go up in does feel like,
right.
On one hand, it's honest, but on the other hand, it's kind of like a cover for them to go ahead and do it. Just to rip off the Band-Aid because like, oh shit.
Yeah, I mean,
ship stuff overseas.
I don't think it was like they're greedily, desperately trying to make more money.
Yeah.
I think they just knew that this is the point in the world where it makes sense to do it.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Because it's cutting in.
Yeah, it's not like necessarily malicious,
right,
at all. That's not what I'm thinking, but more so that they can do it, and instead of taking full flack for having to do it, now there's a situational, like an external thing to blame it on, and everybody's kind of doing it. Nintendo might have, peeled the Band-Aid up. Microsoft peeled it up even more. And
pulling those scabs up.
Yeah, and Sony's like scratching.
I do like. I just still like. I get mad. Not mad. This is gonna sound like the ultimate shill shit. Right. I get like. It's almost a pet peeve, I guess, when people talk about Nintendo being a greedy corporation because they're charging more prices. Because it's like, what do you want out of a corporation? I get that people like don't like that they're weird about their brand. They don't like that they DMCA the honest content creator. The honest Twitch streamer, the honest Smash Melee player. But like, what do you want a video game publisher to look like that's AAA? You know what I mean? Yeah. They've got studios that are super fucking happy working for them.
Exactly.
They've got stability. True. They've got lifelong jobs. True. They put out good products. Yeah. Like, whether you like the products or not, like the products are undeniably high quality, right? They let people take as much time as they need. There's no fucking crunch. Yep. They let people explore new ideas, even for existing IPs.
They do what they.
Yeah,
they do that with the studios that are.
And frankly, they're very honest with their consumer about what the transaction is. Yeah, what is the social contract that is being entered into?
That's one of the funniest parts of me about it, because I think people get upset about certain things they do because
they're so honest about it. Yeah,
it's like, this is what we're doing.
People love being taken advantage of. Yeah, I mean, say what you want. All corporations above a certain size, there's probably a greed element to it because they want to protect the. I think that comes down from a self-preservation perspective. Nintendo's been around for 150 years. They want to stay around for another 150 years.
Stay around for another 400.
Yeah. So, there's undeniably they want to have a healthy rainy day fund for their next Wii U.
Which they do.
Yeah, they do. They have like a very healthy rainy day fund.
And I assume that they know that Switch 2 is probably not going to.
And the other thing I always forget about, is like, when we talk about greedy corporations, one of the most obvious indicators is like what their executive leadership looks like the lives they lead, the salaries they take. Yeah. Nintendo doesn't do that shit. You know what I mean? Like, we know that they've taken like $0 salaries or whatever when they have a bad cycle. So it's just weird. It's weird to me that like people are so short-sighted with some of this shit.
I think when it comes to Nintendo, it's a lot of the people that are complaining are. This is gonna sound rude, whatever. I don't give a fuck. They're childish when it comes to it. they believe that they have a say in it. They believe that they're almost like another parent to them. It's like, well, and then everybody has their little rebellious period. They're like, fuck you, mom. It's like, wait a minute. It's a company that's just selling you shit. You can just not buy the shit. Yeah. You don't have to have the shit. Just the moment you realize you don't have to have the shit, you can wait until it's cheaper, or you can wait.
I like that analogy because the fucking it's always ethical to pirate Nintendo crowd. Like, those are the teens that are stealing out of mom and dad's purse like $20.
Those are the people. Those are the people that are grabbing like little things at stores.
Yeah.
Being like, look what I got.
And mom and dad just
You know?
being like this isn't gonna financially kill me. I'm just disappointed.
Yeah, exactly. like this sucks. I wish you wouldn't do this, but it's
yeah.
I don't know. It's I mean, ironic, not ironic, but like Pocket Pair having to take more shit out of Pal.
Oh yeah, I saw that, the glider.
Yeah, that's pretty wild to me. I also like can't possibly give a shit because
it's so obviously a rip off of multiple ideas.
I think Pal World's problem is,
you know what's funny?
So,
what's funny about Pal World? I was thinking about a review that I read about Croc because I played Croc recently.
Yeah.
And people like clowned on it and it didn't get very good review scores, specifically because they're like, it's just obviously a combination of Tomb Raider, Mario, whatever, like what all the things that it obviously inspired from. Which is true, but it also like is still its own game.
It's its own thing.
And then you have Power World and everyone's like, oh, eat it, Pokemon. And it's like
the part that's fucked.
It's so weird,
Power
dude.
World's existence relies on Pokemon.
Power World is the epitome of like mobile games that just rip the IP out and like rename it something.
Yeah.
Like that is what it's doing. It's way more of a direct fucking clone.
It's like the whole thing is obviously to be a parody.
Yeah.
It's literally when people say it's Pokemon with guns, that's the intention.
Right.
Even though the guns have to wait a while. Yeah, so I think the success that the game has seen has been to the detriment of it because now they put a target on the
square in the fucking spotlight.
Exactly. It's like it's only their fault, and they've been outright about like why be creative about anything, why this or that, and they models that look a little bit taken from from other existing stuff. It's like I think if Nintendo really wanted to, they could try to do everything they could to get rid of this game.
Oh, for sure. They could bury this game.
Yeah, they're just like, okay.
I think people have said that too. Yeah.
Like patenting game mechanics is a little shitty, but
it is shitty, yeah.
At the same time, a lot of shit exists that have patents that you probably don't realize have patents. Like
that's a whole nother ball of wax. I think IP law is pretty fucked in general.
IP law is fucked in a lot of ways.
I think IP law is a lot more fucked up than raising the prices of video games to $80. Sure. Like that is a way more nefarious area that has not been able to keep up with the times of technology.
At one point, it did exist to protect intellectual property outright.
The intention was there.
At this point,
now you got patent trolls, you got shit all over the place.
It's been
real gnarly,
manhandled by big companies like Disney, small individuals, things like that, to prevent other things from existing.
Right.
Or rather, in a lighter way, give a company or a person the right to say if something gets to exist or not. You know, what I mean? Like, oh, we have a patent on this, but you did something we don't like. You've infringed our shit. Out of here.
That's a hard fucking topic. Yeah. That I don't really know enough about law to speak intelligently on. Leave that for the legal, whatever the fucking legal eagle dude or whatever on YouTube.
But at the same time, I have somebody that has artistic ability. I would like my shit to be protected.
I think that's always the goal. Yeah. It's just that you create this fucked up game now that everyone has to play.
Yeah.
Where you're basically fighting tooth and nail to stop other people from taking your shit. Then you have to kill them. You gotta fucking strangle them.
You have to completely decimate. You have to do it in front of everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody has to watch you do it. So
exactly.
It's like
you have to like set precedent.
Executions.
Right.
With the fucking guillotines.
It's real, that's a good way to put it. It's very fucking 14th century.
Yeah. Like all the way down to, like, I'm saying, like, I think someone who creates a work, artistic specifically, and it depends on your ability to define games as artistic or not, whatever. But a creative work should have, if the creator's alive or somebody has the rights to it or whatever, they can decide if it's distributed or not. And for the audience or the public to decide that for that person, I believe is in one way, it's a way to preserve it by letting them do it. But at the same time, you got to give the creator the agency, even if they are a fucking corporation, like fuck. But they have to give them the agency to say, hey, this is available when we say it's available.
Yeah.
You got it when you could. Great. If you missed it, you missed it. That's part of creating the value of their property in the first place.
Right.
If I were to write something, I wanted to keep it to myself, and someone's like, "Oh,
you have to give that to me."
Like, no, I don't. This shit can go with me to my grave, or I can give it to a family member or something like that, and they'll ask them to hold on to it forever, not to publish it, any of that. That's my right. It's unfortunate for the sake of history and storytelling and all this kind of stuff, but that's also just a reality. You know what I mean? Like, not everybody gets to have everything. Not everybody gets to know everything. And I forgot who said it, but creativity is not a democracy. It's one person or one entity makes the thing, and they decide
how it gets
what
used.
happens with that thing in general. If as long as they can control it, once you get the genie out of the bottle.
I will say, I just checked my security cameras, and my Switch 2 has not been delivered yet. I'm not sure why. It's pretty wild that neither of us got the invite, the official invite.
Yeah.
That's kind of that's like to know who actually did. If it's truly like not lottery based,
if it's actually
disturbing. It went to some depraved individuals. I got some healthy hours on there. I got some healthy amount of purchases on there.
I highly doubt that it's like merit.
Right.
A merit thing, because like
they did say it was some element of it though, right?
That's how you become eligible.
Oh, okay.
In the first place,
okay.
It's a way to prevent people from just like
pure scalping. Yeah.
Make an account, get invite.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And but I do think it's probably
a lottery.
It probably is a lottery, and we just lost it, which is fine because I got.
Yeah, we both got our pre-orders already.
Yeah, we both got ours through retailers, which Nintendo.
And frankly,
it
seems like there were more becoming available over the course of the week.
Yeah,
it didn't seem like it was hard to get.
It would happen where you get waves of pre-orders becoming available.
Yeah,
obviously they would be sold out.
Yeah, quickly, I think there were some cancellations that got processed, but
if you paid attention, you could probably get one for launch if you really want.
Yeah, even now, even starting now.
Even now, you keep your eyes up.
I'm excited for it.
I would like to just get the invitation to say I got it. Because apparently everybody's gonna get it. No. Yeah, that's not ridiculous to you. Listen.
It sounds a little silly.
But I even considered maybe.
What, are you gonna print it out and frame it?
No, don't. It's just not. But Ben's dumb. I mean, get it and be like, hey, okay, I got it. And
give it to somebody.
Use it, but I have the option of saying, "Hey, would you like a Switch too?"
Yeah, I wanted to tell me. I wanted to be able to give it to my brothers or something, because they both have young kids, and be like, "Hey, don't know if this was on your guys' radar, but if you want one, I got one for you."
Exactly.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe I'll just buy two.
It's not going to be a Wii situation. That's for fucking sure, though.
What, that system?
Just the scarcity.
Oh yeah, no. Granted.
They did say that some probably wouldn't ship though, right?
What, for the Nintendo ones?
For Switch 2.
That specifically, they were like,
you might not all get them launch day.
You're probably not going to get that launch day. Yeah, that's basically we're less than a month out.
I can't wait for people to screech about it online.
Yeah, I'm highly excited for June 5th and seeing all the people actually playing the thing, and then the complaints, and then just see them go back to playing the thing before everyone's eyes. It's like, I mean, at least you're using it, so you get to complain about it. But
I'm also curious about the complaints of the dock scratching people's systems and shit.
I get the feeling the dock is probably gonna have.
Yeah,
because for airflow too.
I want to know who's gonna get the first case of Joy-Con drift.
Someone, I can guarantee someone's gonna try to do a stress test. And the 90 fucking.
It'd be like cheap.
But what happens if you try to play Mario Party 1 on Switch 2?
Which is on there. It's on there.
Yeah, it is on there, and they tell you exactly. They have a screen that says, "Don't do this."
Yeah. Don't play these mini games. Yeah, don't even play them.
Don't just remove Mario
just
Party
skip.
from there.
It's definitely not the best Mario Party.
It's not.
It's definitely not the best Mario Party.
Some of the games that were on there that required stupid inputs are adapted in 2 and 3,
right?
To not be annoying as shit to play. So
I'm excited to play Jamboree TV.
I'm excited.
It's not a launch game now.
I'm curious if I can use my phone as a webcam.
Probably actually.
Yeah, when you connect.
Can you do it on your like PC computer?
I can do. Yeah, the phone has a setting where when you connect it to USB, it'll ask.
It's like treat me as a USB camera.
Exactly.
Oh.
So I'm thinking maybe if I really want to use shit like that, I could probably just grab a stand that I already have, put it next to my Switch.
Well, lucky for you, I'm getting the camera.
Huh?
Lucky for you, I'm getting the camera.
Okay.
So you can just fucking so you can just fucking play it here. Okay. Not the fucking Piranha Plant, not the 480p.
You gotta be
only 1080p in this bitch.
You gotta be fucking bonkers to buy that.
Or sadly, not know any better. It's probably for the children that are like, oh, look at the cute thing.
Look at it.
Or the parents.
And then it looks like this.
It's like you can't even tell who it is.
The shit can't remove the background. It's
like, why does it look like this? And then they're filing support tickets, and Nintendo's like this is how it looks, man. Yeah. Don't buy third party.
It's just how it looks. Though you can use whatever USB camera.
Right. So. I just didn't want to fuck with like setting it up. I actually get really annoyed with the PlayStation camera for like always having to sit on top of your TV. Yeah. TVs are too thin now, man.
Your TV, that fucking thing is like literally.
It is razor thin. I'm not putting a fucking camera up there.
Or less than a centimeter thin.
Yeah, I'm not putting shit up there.
Yeah, in fact, fuck.
The fact that it comes with a little stand, I'm just like, good, good.
And I think they know that.
Yeah.
I know we've been talking for a while now, and of course we're going to talk about Switch 2 when it comes out and after it comes out. I do think a lot of things with Switch 2 are the engineers and people directing the development of it, paying attention to what people are seeing and doing and buying. Like, what kind of TV sets do people have? That's why we have 120 hertz HDR,
right.
VRR on the screen.
Speaking of, that is my one complaint with the PS Portal. It's not HDR.
Yeah,
not that it's not OLED, but the fact it's not HDR.
That does seem like a.
And it's specifically annoying because the way remote play is written from like the code perspective right now, it doesn't know what's connecting to it. So it's sending the HDR signal back to the PS Portal, and it's fucking washed out.
It's just sending it as...
The weird workaround that people found is you can set a shortcut on your homepage to the accessibility menu, turn on inverted colors, because the PS Portal doesn't support inverted colors, so it uninverts the colors. But when you invert the colors, it always turns off HDR and converts it to a standard signal. SDR, So that's
annoying.
It's really annoying.
That's really... Do you have to do that? Or...
I've been doing it.
That's fucking...
I've just been leaving it on because I haven't really been in here very much.
Yeah.
So I check it and just let
it rock like that.
Yeah, and then when I know I'm back in here, I just gotta check the thing again. But yes, they need to fucking fix that.
Yeah, that should be.
That is not
like
good.
Number one thing. If the portal can't, the portal is an SDR device,
right?
When it connects to the PS5, the PS5 should just say...
Detect that it's a portal. I agree.
Detect that it's a portal specifically.
Yes.
It doesn't matter, like, not a phone or anything, just a portal.
Yes.
Can this thing support HDR? No. Let's send it up the proper SDR signal so it's not gray.
Correct. I wonder if part of it is just the fact that with remote play, the TV can still be on.
True.
So I don't know if that's part of it. Like it's prioritizing the TV signal.
That's almost for certain.
Yeah,
that's actually almost for certain. Like the chip that's sending the signal to the thing probably actually doesn't give a shit.
It's just mirroring.
I mean, I assume the portal was a last.
Sure, they didn't prioritize the portal with
the thing. So that sucks. I need these handheld. The developers.
I do love the device though. It is really nice having full DualSense compatibility.
I just want
directly there.
Everything should be like it shouldn't feel handheld gaming for decades had this afterthought feeling. It had this like secondary feeling. It shouldn't be like that.
Here's what I'll say though. Hear me out.
Go ahead.
PS Remote Play app for Switch 2. Give it to me now. Here's why. HDR screen,
screen.
1080p. That's what remote play supports up to. And I can almost guarantee you that it's got the same haptics as the DualSense controller.
Yeah, I want to feel what
the only thing it wouldn't have is the triggers.
Yeah.
So there'd be some funky shit there for some of the PS5 specific games.
You can still play
PS5
games remote play with various controllers
with a fucking phone.
Yeah.
Just phone screen directly if you want.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's a way around it.
Though you say that, I do think there is a greater than zero chance that Game Pass shows up.
By all means. The premier handheld gaming device needs to have all the things. Bring all the things. I feel like Sony's direction has been kind of going that way anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who knows if they're ever going to make another handheld? Did you see the leaks about the Xbox handheld?
I have.
Partnering with, was it Asus?
Yeah.
Did you see the mock-up?
I didn't see them. I
just fucking ugly as shit. It was very Xbox. Let me see if
that's one of those things where I'm like, oh, it's just going to be an ROG.
It looks just like a fucking Steam Deck competitor.
Which is fine, but also it's like, that's one of those like secondary things that I get that feeling from. Yeah,
it's probably pretty comfortable, to be honest.
It does look like a maternity device, but
yeah,
and it has that button
show you
from the Ally.
Yeah,
it has his fingerprints all over the screen for some reason in this image. That's a weird choice.
Well, because it's a leak, it's not an official image.
Yeah.
It's just somebody snapping pics. Yeah. With a prototype device. It's just that, like, that is a little bit weird to me. Like, the way that this device looks tells me that it's not just going to be a Game Pass device.
Yeah.
When I say Game Pass, cloud streaming device.
And I can see they're trying to have like some Xbox, like maybe even 360 isms with the way the shell is formed around that. But it also like doesn't feel like Xbox to me. It feels like Xbox license shit.
Yeah. Asus.
Yeah, like it is, and it has the fucking Republic of Gamers fucking logo on the back, which I cannot stand. What are you making that face for?
I'm making this face because now that I'm looking at this, they don't actually say that this is a leaked device.
Yeah.
It could just be that somebody was like, oh.
Something up or...
Although, this looks like a leak of a prototype device for sure. Like, that's like lab type setting.
Are you talking about this Tom Warren post?
Yeah. I don't know. It seems a little too late when there's already the Steam Deck out there, when there's already the other PC compatible.
Yeah, and like
it's like, what's the point?
What are they going to price it at? You know what I mean? Because like the Ally and shit like that is not cheap.
It's like $800.
Like, yeah, I was going to say, it's like twice the price of what Switch 2 is asking for. And it might be more powerful, but it's also...
Is it worth it?
Yeah, you have to decide. Like,
you also got to fucking tinker. Like, that's my least favorite thing about the Steam Deck.
It's a Windows PC.
Right.
Not the Steam Deck, but these things are. And that shit,
you're still gonna have to fucking tinker, yeah.
That's what I mean. Like, it's weirder in a handheld situation.
Now, if it is something where it has like the Xbox UI,
and
it like works well, there's something to be said for that.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing I would hope for.
Yeah.
If it's Windows, but if it's like the Xbox version of Windows, because that's what Xbox uses, that would actually probably be a really big help for this. And if they guarantee that docking it or just connecting an HDMI cable of some sort,
replace your fucking Xbox altogether.
Get rid of the Series S. This thing now.
This
like,
replace.
If they can guarantee that's convenient and works every time you do it.
And it does feel like that's probably part of the nice plateauing of like chips and technology right now is that it makes these things more affordable at scale,
more reasonable to do use them that way.
That combined with the Steam Deck, like kind of starting to blow the doors off what is possible with a handheld device,
like PC style device that's like all encompassing.
So it would be nice if in like 5 to 10 years, it's just like the graphical plateau has enabled other devices to catch up on like efficiency.
Yeah, my hope, like we've said this before, but I hope batteries catch up.
Yeah,
I think the future of this kind of thing are like hybrid console handheld situations. So like you can call it a console, you can call it a PC, whatever you want to call it. It's a device that can work handheld if you want it to, or it can work on a big screen if you want it to, and it's the same device. It's
Right.
not a you're not getting two different SKUs for the same shit. It's
Right.
just the one thing you get, and you can pass it and share it. Use whatever controls you want.
It'll be interesting to see what happens. All right, let's wrap it up.
Yeah, we picked up another topic right at the end. So
You like this shit? Give us a like, comment, subscribe. We're at memoryleakpodcast@gmail.com. We're on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, and YouGooTube.
YouTube?
GooTube.
Fuck that. No, we're not Red.
Not yet.
All right, and that's it.
Until next time.